Fine and there once was a podcast in the great internet of internets. It was called Fine and Dandy. Muy influential podcast. You have to remember, folks, where there's a podcast, there's a Fine and Dandy.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Fine and Dandy podcast.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Doofles is back in action. We are also back in action, how they say, on the set, on the air. We're in time. Boom. Podcast.
I love your intros every time because it's just you stumbling over a bunch of words,
Oh, yeah,
trying to
dude.
put them together. And the Doofles is here.
It's off the cuff.
Fine and here we are.
It's off the cuff link.
We're
if you
doing
know
it.
what I mean. Hell yeah.
It's always like
We're
you
back.
trying to play on the word before. You're like, we're back in action. We're back in. We're action and off the cuff. If you know what the cuff is off.
You gotta just put your finger to your brain so it makes sense. And then it makes sense.
Put the finger to the brain one more time. I liked how you're doing it. I was like, you gonna go any harder?
Drill your shit into
Fucking
your
just
skull.
push your
Through the
finger-
temple is probably the best, or
Put your-
maybe the ear would probably be
Put
the
your
best
finger all the way through.
eye hole.
This is fine and dandy. Off the cuff. If the cuff is off, you know
The
what I'm
cuff
saying?
is
Look
all the
at
way
that.
off, dude, and we're on the air. So boom,
We're doing it. We're here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is Fine and Dandy. We're glad to be here. Honestly, I don't know what I would be without Josh. His introductions that's what gets us through every time.
Hey man,
They're always
I'm glad to
top
be
tier.
here. It's just another beautiful day in the neighborhood, if you know what I mean.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighbor. Won't you be my
You should go on tour.
neighbor? That was whatchamacallit? Mr. Rogers.
Hell yeah, dude.
Day in the neighborhood. Is that what it's called?
What?
I think that's what
I
the
thought you
show's
said
called.
Dan in the neighborhood. I was like, what?
I was like,
I mean, you are in the neighborhood.
I'm Dan in the neighborhood. Day in the neighborhood, right?
Sure, why not? I don't know if we can play it.
Beautiful day. No, that's not. I think it was just called Mr. I'm trying to figure it out.
Hell yeah,
the movie
dude.
was called that, but I don't remember what. I think it was just Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I think that's what it was.
Did he write the song?
It was his intro.
But I'm saying, did he write the song?
I don't know. Probably
I
not.
don't know. Maybe. I feel like whenever I saw some of the Mr. Rogers documentaries that I saw, I didn't pay as much attention as I probably should have. They were good, but I don't remember.
Is there a
some of,
documentary?
There's a couple, I think.
Saw the movie. I didn't know there was a documentary.
I thought there was a documentary, and then there was the movie after the
The
documentary.
movie with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I remember that one. That one was good.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I love how Tom Hanks is like. Everyone looks at Tom Hanks like, I love Tom Hanks so much as an actor, and everyone that's the guy, right?
I mean,
Think when
Okay.
you think of Tom Hanks, you think that's the fucking. You had Forrest Gump. You had fucking. There was this movie where he was like the dad in the World Trade Center. I can't remember that movie. You had fucking
I mean, you got Castaway,
Castaway was a fucking banger, bro.
fucking
Like America's Sweetheart, like America's
the-
dad.
the Da Vinci Code, and
Oh, he was in that. Saving Private Ryan.
the Angels and
Big was a good
or whatever.
movie. Fucking, he's Toy Story, bro. Come on,
Oh yeah, that's
Woody.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Catch Me If You Can, dude. He was in
Yeah.
fucking
Catch Me If You Can. Ryan.
League of Their
no, not
Own was
now,
a
buddy.
fucking banger, bro. I mean, these are probably not movies a lot of newer people. Cloud Atlas, I got a lot of shit. I enjoyed that movie a lot.
Yeah, you recommended it to me. I still need to rewatch it to get it fully understood. Honestly.
Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close was the movie I was thinking of. So this kid basically lost his dad. Tom Hanks was his dad in 9/11, and he kept thinking his dad was going to come out and followed all these
alert.
tapes, but Through the tapes, he got to he got to like know
I
his
mean,
dad.
it's an old movie. Yeah, I'm sure most people have seen it.
If not, they're never gonna see it. I would have never watched it, you know. But yeah, like America's Dad, and then when they found out that his son was Chet Hanks, they're like, he might be doing some things wrong.
Bro, that shit's funny. That's I don't know. So like whenever you're saying when you think of Tom Hanks, I was like, well, honestly, like recency bias would tell me like when the first thing I think of when I hear Tom Hanks is like how he was like on those lists for like the Epstein lists and shit like
Was
that.
he?
I'm pretty sure. Like I want to say like he was one of those celebrities that was on like the list of people that was like on his flights and shit. Oh yeah, and he was in that new.
He's not recorded. Fact check.
No,
Not on Jeff. No.
I thought it was him and his wife or something. Okay, my bad. Bring it back. It was something else.
There's fact checks. It says social media. There were social media posts that geared towards that.
Got you. Okay.
But turns out there was no name associated.
And
But
that's kinda
we would
crazy.
never know, though. We would never know.
That's kind of crazy though, because it's like that. I remember it, like him and his wife like being tarnished on social media about that. So if that wasn't true, then that's crazy how that can be like kind of digressed and then just blown over like it didn't matter.
I mean, this is how much power he had. This man,
yeah,
wife got COVID in a whole nother country.
yeah.
Like they were secluded in another country, and they were still like, "Hey, this is Tom Hanks. I'm here to tell you it's gonna be okay. Get vaccinated." Like, all right, we don't need this right now. Shut up, Tom Hanks. Yeah, no, but whenever like all that stuff started coming out about Chet Hanks just being a dumbass piece of shit,
Oh yeah.
I was like, Tom Hanks, you might be a terrible dad. Y'all might be horrible parents, actually.
I mean, so you got to think it's like whenever you are on these shoots for like 6 to 8 months out of the year, and you're like prolific with your movie making, like there's not a lot of time to be a father there.
It's an excuse not to be a good
I'm
parent.
not saying it's an excuse, but what I'm saying is if you enjoyed those movies, then don't start criticizing his
his
his ability to be a parent.
It was like, it makes me think.
You
I'm
gotta
always
take the good with the bad. Am I right?
It always makes me think is like, is Joe Rogan ever around his kids? Like, how often is he around his kids? You know?
Yeah, I would say I don't know that for sure. I know that one of his daughters is already like out, either in or out of college. Like she's older type shit.
Like, are we gonna catch in 20 years them coming out like, yeah, my dad sucked.
I'm
You know?
glad you guys loved his podcast, but no, I'm kidding.
This is my book.
I don't know. I'm sure you'd have already heard something about that because, like I said, one of his daughters is already like our age or older, maybe.
I'm sure he takes care of his kids at least.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot.
Has
of
to be
time.
tough though. He's busy, you know.
Yeah, so I think like that's more of a like I guess if you talk about him specifically, but even more generally, it's like all about like time management. Once you have kids, it's like if you have shit you got to do, then sometimes you got to get it done while they're at school or while they're asleep, because while they're awake and you're home, then you should make that your top priority type shit.
Yeah.
So if you don't, then most people don't. Honestly, there's a lot of people that don't. Most people put work as their top priority because they say I gotta put bread on the table and I gotta pay the bills and everything. And that's true. You do have to do those things, but it's also like to put your kids beneath that is something that a lot of people do.
Yeah, that's fair. That's something I always think about though. It's like people who are always like busy though, and having to make that time for your kids. I guess in the sense of, I understand it's probably the same exact thing, like a daily work life, for any of the people that we know, wake up, get kids ready for school, drop them off at school. Then you got to go to work. You work all day, you pick them up from school, or you have someone picking up and watch them until you get off. Then you pick them up, and then you got to do dinner, and then you watch them, and they're yelling, and they're screaming, and they're snot, and then you change their diapers, and they're running around, they're knocking shit over.
Diapers.
Yeah, it was the whole thing, and then
Yeah.
and then you got to put them to bed, and you wake up, and do it all over again. Or there's the people that you meet at the bar that are not only teachers, but they're also parents, and you're like, why are you here till 4 in the morning?
Till 3 a.m. knowing you have class at 6:30.
You have to wake your kids up.
I mean, I guess at that point it's just like the only difference is like how much sleep you're able to get. You know what I mean? Like you or I couldn't just go out at one night and fucking stay up till 2 a.m. and then get up the next day at fucking 2 p.m. if we so choose.
Yep.
But other people will have to make that sacrifice of saying, if I'm gonna stay up till 2 a.m. today, it's because I'm sacrificing my sleep tonight, and because I still have to wake up at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow to get up for this, and this. So I mean, it's more of a priority thing, but it's also like that sacrifice there, like where you're like, I have to move with more thought processes, because it like, what is this like? How much am I going to spend tonight in not just money, but also time and sleep that I could have gotten type shit. So it's like, you got to make a different calculation there.
Yeah, I'm going to circle back to the kid thing. But just thinking, is like teachers, is summertime also a chance for like some teachers to also get fucked up? Especially the ones that have kids, because they're like, I don't have to take them to school. They can,
I would think there's at least like a week or two. Like, and maybe if not a whole month and maybe 6 week period, but I'm thinking anywhere from like a 1 to 6 week period of time during the summer where teachers are like, this is my time to shine. I'm getting fucked up, baby.
You know how many teachers I've met out in the wild? Like
Yeah.
As adults, you're getting fucked up with someone. Like, what do you do for a living? I'm a teacher. Oh, you're in charge of the children? Are you giving lessons tomorrow?
Didn't you just like do some coke in the restroom?
It's funny because it's like that John Mulaney skit where he's like, wait, you gotta teach children? It's fine. I'll just put on a movie. He said, wait, that's why they put on movies? But as you get older, you realize that's not that far. You're like, oh shit,
I was talking to somebody about
children.
it. Actually, I was talking to somebody about it yesterday. Actually, I was saying like, you ever like think back to like those like bitchy teachers or like stickler teachers and just be like, that person was probably just like hungover that day.
Nah, it's more than that. Like when
you were just a bratty ass kid at 10 a.m. screaming like, I don't want to do that, and they're like, fuck you, you piece of shit, but they can't say that because they're in school, so they are channeling all of that alcohol and anger all at once just to say, go do some fucking lines or some shit.
I mean, you gotta think it's
go
just
to the principal's office.
It's more than that. Imagine you just went through a breakup and then you went through a breakup with a loved one and then you drank a bunch the night before. You come in and then some fucking little piece of shit wants to be funny or say something stupid. You're like, hey,
you little fucking piece. Oh yeah, you thought that was funny, you little piece of shit.
Go to the principal's office, and they're like, why is she being a bitch? Or why is he being such a dick? It's like, yeah, well, fuck you.
Just like your eyes squinting because it hurts to fucking look at the lights and fucking bright ass fluorescent lights. Imagine being like a science teacher and having to fucking like do a whole presentation of some biology shit like whenever you were absolutely hammered, just like so fucked up the night before that you're still residually drunk on your way to work, and you kind of sober up before the class starts, but you're just like in that mode where you like sleep deprived and also sobering up. It's just horrible, like super uncomfortable, and then you just got like 30 kids looking up at you like, all right, teach me something.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked, honestly. By like the time you would be sobering up, school's already over.
Right.
like the school day is done. You're like, fuck, dude.
Like, damn, I just went through 7 periods of absolute pain.
Like that movie Bad Teacher is just actually probably the common teacher.
The majority of,
like the
not
average.
the majority of teachers, but like there's probably at least 1 to 2 of those at every school.
I'd say more than 2.
I would say, just to be fair, just to be like a fair assumption.
How about 2%?
No, like people, the teachers.
I think it's more than that.
You think it's more than that?
Like I've met.
It's a good like 20% maybe.
Do you remember us partying with our teachers?
Yes,
in high school. Do you? Okay, I just want everyone to
factor. Hold on, I don't know if we can put that out there.
I mean, we're not saying names.
That's fair.
They don't know. It could have been any of them.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. Fuck
but yeah, speaking of it, it was. No, I'm kidding. I'm not
kidding. But yeah, for sure. I remember this class.
But think about it. We were literally. The thing was, I mean, they were letting their kids throw the party, and we were all there.
Yeah.
They were drinking too, though.
Yeah, and it wasn't like they were casually drinking.
No.
Like, I'll have a glass of wine.
Fuck no.
It was like
Let's get fucked.
You guys aren't doing keg stands. I guess I'll do. Bro, fucking, I remember you used to keg stands at like the ranch parties and shit because you were like, I don't know. I would never fucking be able to do that shit, but I would always be like,
I don't remember.
Have respect for people that would do them.
I did a cake stand.
You've done them at multiple times. You don't remember ever doing one?
I might have done one once. I can't like pinpoint a point in time where I'm like I did a cake stand.
I would
That's, like,
say
in my mind.
the ranch party where Mike and Los DJ'd at. It was like
Or the one I threw?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was not as good. That was
definitely
like
did a cake stand that night.
there was like 10 people there.
No, there was a fair like 15 to 20, maybe 30.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the first one there was like 100 plus there.
I had a good time. I got drunk.
What, the first one?
At both ones.
That's fair. Yeah.
The first one was a lot bigger for sure.
That one had a couple hundred. I feel like
Maybe, yeah.
like 100 would be shorting it.
See, that's some.
It was definitely
like,
over
you
100
talking about
people
like
there.
how many people are at a party. It's like are you talking about like how many people were there at one time, or like the traffic that came through?
I mean, at one time. I always think
At
of one time.
time?
I always
Okay.
think of it one time.
I was
One
gonna
time is
say,
how I view it. I don't ever view
you
it traffic.
had a lot of people like come through.
In terms of
come
traffic,
through.
I always have a ton, but like I'm thinking of always when I think of like how many were in a room at one time. That's how I always view like something I throw because that's like the feel of the party, you know.
See, the thing with
'Cause
like
I could
a
have
ranch
a-
party though is like there's not because it's not like a room and like because the premises are so big, people could be like in their cars smoking or like out fucking shooting guns or whatever. Fucking there's like so many people that are there that aren't really visible to the party but are still at the party, so it's kind of hard to be like. I feel like you almost have to go by traffic in that point because some people will only stay for a little bit, but most people are like going in and out because they're like going to get more alcohol or like going to the store to get Rillos or fucking going to pick somebody up type shit. Like there was a lot of traffic in and out, but most of the people like were partying type shit. That's why I don't know. I get what you're saying, like a house party though.
No, like even at that ranch bar, I'm talking about who was all there, like collectively
Yeah.
inside the walls of and confines of
the walls of the confines.
of the ranch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's probably like 150 probably. But all right, wrapping back around, I was thinking about it though, like people who are constantly touring or like doing podcasts and shit, like having kids has to be the toughest thing. And that's, I mean, not to tie it into myself here, but that's probably why I would never want kids. And not the main reason, but that's another reason. It's like if I want to live out my dreams or just do whatever I want, I don't want to have to be like, there's a whole human being here who also needs guidance and taken care of.
Right.
But then there's also my career, just helping provide for these kids that I also have to do, which also requires me to do all these other things.
Yeah.
So they're not getting the full necessarily full guidance or help that they need.
Right. And I see that. I guess where I'm at is like I don't really know if I want kids. I know I used to want kids. I still kind of do, but I'm more so like living, I guess, in the moment about it. I don't think I would denounce the idea of it. I guess I do see the whole responsibility, not just financially, but like emotionally as well. But I don't necessarily see that as much of a responsibility, like as a bad thing in any way. Like, I mean, I would hope that I would be in a substantial amount of financial position to be able to support a kid, whether I have kids or not, just so, you know, that I can be at least living comfortably if I don't have children. But if I do it, I can support them and still live comfortably through that support.
Yeah, I guess I'll put it in perspective of this is what I was thinking. Not even just, like, of course, financial is one big thing that you need if you're going to have kids.
Right.
Because you got to sustain yourself as well as another
Correct.
human being.
So I guess what my second portion of that was going to be was like the other side is the emotional responsibility. And on that note, I would say the same thing as far as saying like I would hope that I could get to, before that point, before I do have a children, I would hope that I could get to a point emotionally so that I could sustain myself as well as support somebody else and be able to provide emotional sustainability for another person type shit while they grow. So that would be what I was saying is like both of those things for me are check marks I would have to hit before I have children. So I wouldn't denounce that I don't want kids, But I'll say that I would have to be able to get to that point regardless whether I do have kids or not, to be able to want to have
Yeah.
kids.
I guess I was thinking of it more in the sense of, well, no, I was also thinking of it like, but like, for instance, you'd watch movies when you were younger and stuff, there's always the dad who works hard, you know,
Right.
like, Dad! And they're so excited to see him because they see him once a month because he's constantly working a job, you know what I mean? But that's to sustain the family, you know? Like, the mom's probably taking care of the kids most of the time, but you
The
also gotta think,
house, the kids.
yeah, you gotta think not having your dad around probably affects the kids too. You know, like the
Oh,
one
it
kid who's like,
does,
Dad, am I
yeah.
gonna see you at my baseball game?
No.
Yeah, son, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
my best to make it out. You gotta tell him that every time, and then looks into this.
I gotta work, but you know what, buddy? I'm gonna do my best to make it out.
And then the kid looks into the stands, and his dad's not there. And then the kid gets into a fight or some shit, or gets hit with or hits a home run. His dad wasn't there to see it.
There it is. So everybody's cheering, like boosting him up, and he just punches somebody. Fuck you, my dad's not here.
No, like the whole team's
No,
picking
yeah.
him up, chanting, and he looks into the eye, like the crowd. And his mom's like, and his dad's not there.
Boom.
Yeah.
Daddy wasn't there.
But that, like, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah, financially and shit, but
Yeah.
it's also that has to take a toll. Where it's dad works so hard, but at the end of the day, kids probably hate you to a degree. Not hate you, they understand, but like they're not gonna be as close to you as.
It's like
And then by the end of your life, you're just
they
like, fuck.
will understand. In the moment, it's hard to be a kid and feel that and understand why your pops isn't there. Eventually, you'll probably understand, like, he might have had to do that. But again, like, it goes back to, like, the old, like, choices thing, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have maybe taken, like, one less day off at work or put extra hours in on 2 other days so that he could have an extra day off type shit or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like to be able to have more time with your family. I don't know. You got to make it a priority, and it is hard to do for a lot of people because of the fucking system that is set in place and a lot of the bullshit that we have to deal with as a society, especially here in America.
Yeah.
But it's something you kind of like got to make as a, I don't think of like a discipline, like a statement, like something you live by type shit. Like family is important to you. You have to make it important. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard with some jobs to do that though. That's
Very
why you
hard,
gotta,
yeah.
got to make that, put that
Very
time,
hard, dude.
to place those moments in. And kudos to everyone who works hard, you know, and has kids and makes time for them and fits everything into your schedule and somehow still makes it work.
It can also be like extremely difficult. This might be getting into like sensitive territory, but I mean, I don't care. It's extremely difficult too in like split family homes, like to match up scheduling and shit like that, especially not with some jobs that keep you busy and shit like that. But if you share custody, then you also have to match up your scheduling with that job with this other person's scheduling with their job and their scheduling with the custody and all this different shit that sometimes can be super conflicting.
Yep.
In a lot of situations.
Not even just that. I mean, imagine, okay, on top of that, like if you have a kid young,
Mm-hmm.
split up,
Mhm.
you gotta make time for your job, and then you gotta make time for scheduling, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Working with that other parent. They
Right.
could be a shitty person, you know. It could be a difficulty to work with that other
Or
parent.
maybe not even a shitty person, but y'all just have a shitty relationship.
Yeah.
And so
And,
like
like,
you
it's
guys
difficult.
can both be good people while having absolute hatred for one another.
Fair. And it's just not working, or even if it is working, it's still a difficulty to, you know, arrange things and do all that stuff, but then also maintaining your own life within that.
Right.
You know, and especially if you're having a kid young, I mean, there's a sense of self that has to be given away, which sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to almost give your entire life to the kid.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't, you know. They're like, oh, kid's my entire life. It should be, in a sense, because, I mean, I'm not saying it's always your decision, because there are instances where that's not the case. But in instances where, you know, you have a child, regardless, kid did not decide that. It was not the child's choice.
Right.
I guess in a way, in a very primitive way, it was the child's choice. It chose to swim to the egg and fucking be the winner, I guess. The fucking.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Every time a baby pops out from now on, the doctor says, "Congratulations, you won." The baby's like,
Is that why he slaps the baby on the ass whenever he's born? It's like, this is your victory. Smack.
you did it. You swam to the egg, and now you're here. Woo!
Woo!
Now you're dying every second you're on this planet.
Oh.
You know, they say dying's a disease that can be. Some people believe that.
Yeah, I've read some things like that, like anti-aging, like products as well as like techniques and shit like that.
And who knows? It's kind of crazy, but yeah, no, just making that time for yourself though, and working through that and trying to still be your own person, in a way, keep that individual sense of self that you had before you had the kid. But you know, a lot of people say that's gone. You know, like once you have a kid, it's especially the mom, because you're the one carrying the child. You know that postpartum depression is very real.
Yeah.
And just looking back at who you were before you had the kid, you know, and losing this sense of self. See, no, and right, what's crazy is whenever I first watched Marley and Me, which was like a month or two ago, and I was like, this is a kid's movie.
This is that was the first time you
It was like
saw
a couple months ago, yeah. I had
mean,
never seen it growing up.
It's like I guess you could call it a kid's movie.
Everyone was like, it's a very heartwarming
I wouldn't
movie.
say it's a kid's movie.
It was not.
It's
It was not at all. I watched it.
It's
It
sad
wasn't.
as shit.
That shit was depressing. I was like,
it's heartwarming for like 30 minutes.
It was not any good.
It's heartwarming for like 30 minutes.
They tried to like cover up the emotional fucking.
Hey man, that shit took you down a roller coaster. It was like, I'm not ready for this moment.
Look, this is Marley and Me. They try to cover up the entire emotional distress of the relationship and with children and everything with a dog.
And it worked.
Like the dog was the problem the whole time, not our own relationship.
It worked.
It didn't. I was watching it and I was just, holy shit. This is spoilers, but what I'm good at. Hey, if you want to watch spoilers, if you ever want to hear spoilers of any movie ever, come watch our podcast. But I was sitting there, I was like, holy shit, because it starts off, they're in a happy relationship, they're in love, they're young, they're living life, and then she wants a kid, he's not ready for it, so it's like, let's get a dog. Classic maneuver, you know?
Right.
That's like what most
I'll
relationships.
warm you up with the dog, and then we'll have a kid.
Yeah, that's most
Yeah.
what a lot of relationships do. Say, let's get a dog. They get the dog. Dog is very energetic, high energy dog. Fucking menace to society, tears everything up, tears shit to shreds. And then they can't really control him. They take him to like pet training school, and he's a terrible dog. But I think it's not that he was a terrible dog.
He's not a terrible dog. There's no bad dogs. It's just bad training and bad owners.
That's what it was, pretty much. Yeah, they didn't really take the time out to really train him. You know, they were just, hey, you know, with a dog with a dog, I don't know the exact breed that Marley was, but
He looked like a retriever.
those need a lot. They have a lot of energy. You have to go take runs with them. You have to let them out. You got to play with them constantly. If you don't give them that, they're gonna tear shit up.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, most dogs will tear shit up if you don't give them proper attention. I mean, it's just like their nature.
Yeah. Okay. But then,
They have fun with it.
so then basically it's the move. Yeah. So then that happens, and they can't contain them. So their next idea is, hey, let's have a kid. That's the best next move. We couldn't control our dog. Let's fucking get it. Let's have a kid. So they have a kid. And then right after that, you know, it's better than having a kid. Let's have another kid. They have like 3 kids, I think. 3 of them bitches. So they have 3 kids, and then he's in the process of trying to figure out what he wants to do with his job. He had like a good secure job at like the, cause he was like a journalist or something. He had a good spot where he was at, and he got moved up. He was good. And he was just like, this isn't enough. Got like the dream job he thought he wanted in some other newspaper article. And because in the one he was at, he had freedom to kind of work around what he wanted to do. Like the editorial chief loved him, gave him free range to pretty much experiment with shit that he was doing. Because he got to write a lot of articles about his life and stuff like that and post it in the paper, which I think that's a great job. You know what I mean? You're helping a lot of people with your work, and that was it. People were able to relate to you, but then that wasn't enough. And basically, she took off from work during all that to take care of the kids and, you know, the house and stuff. So he's working all the time. He's having to deal with the stresses of work. She's dealing with the stresses of the kids. and then the house. But neither of them are really taking either into account. 'Cause she's like, don't you're not appreciating what I'm doing, and then he's at work constantly. He's the one trying to sustain the
Right.
family, but they basically getting a bunch of arguments and like stress, and he's missing who she was before. Like, I don't even remember who I was before the kids now. I don't even remember
Right.
who I was before all this. He's stressed out because he's working and trying to make all this. Like, he moved him out to a whole nother state, to a bigger house,
Mm-hmm.
because he got this new position. Loki hates his new job, misses his old job, and she was like, well, you can't just keep fucking doing that. You know what I mean? You got to
Right.
pick something. Got a family now. We can't just keep being wishy-washy over jobs now.
Right.
Stay somewhere so it can be sustainable. Yeah, and then Marley gets sick and dies. So that's, the whole movie.
I think there's some like nice like romantic like soundtrack to make it a lot better than
Not
that sounded.
much.
But
Not much better. Not anything that made it that much better. Like, the whole movie, I was like, holy fuck, is this getting any better?
no.
And it was just their relationship deteriorating into nothing because of their kids, and them remembering what they once had and who they once were, and then looking at other things and being like,
But then
that's
the
what my
dog
life could have been.
died, and then they came together.
they realized all the memories they had because of the dog.
And then when the dog was dead, they realized that they had to be more appreciative and grateful for what they have, and not worry about what they once were or what they once could be, but live in the moment and love thine family.
That's not what happened. I just want
Hey,
to make that clear.
rhymed.
That's not. That's not how it ended. It wasn't like, oh, Marley
This
died.
is a fanfic ending. No, I'm kidding.
It was more so, fuck. This dog has been through everything, even through all the. They try to make it heartwarming, where like they hated the dog at the first, but they loved him. Nah, and there was a moment where like Jennifer Aniston's character, the wife, was just so angry at her life. And the dog was a dog, The dog accidentally knocked over the kid, and she just went off on the dog. I was like, okay, this is just sad. Like, what are we doing? This movie is depressing. They hate their lives. Like, they loved it. But the fact of the matter is, even when they had 2 kids, they were struggling, so they had one more. I'm like, why? Where's the thought process?
I mean, it's more so the we'll figure it out mindset, I guess.
I don't know. I'm saying,
It did.
yeah, it's a tough thing. But my point with that was, it's tough to, especially when you have, like, separate. Like, that was when they were together, you know what I mean? They had to, and even when you're together with someone, sometimes it feels like you're alone. Like, you don't have that person as a shoulder or to, like, cry on, or, like, a shoulder to lean on, or whatever saying you want to use there. Like, someone to support you and be your teammate there. And then when you're separated, it's even harder because you're like, you're not doing it by yourself. Some people have great co-parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in the sense of, if you're separated, someone who's also taking care of the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was understood. I don't think
Who
I don't
uses
think if they're
co-parent.
married and like live in the same house and happily like raising a child, that they would say this is still co-parenting. I think it's just parenting. Right.
But I think that's tough, though, in any situation,
Yeah.
having to work through that, especially with a kid, and working out who you are, figuring out who you are, especially when you're at such a young age. If you have a kid anywhere from 18, I'd say 18 to 25, in that range, you're figuring out who you are.
Yeah. I would say
Anything before that, especially.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely not ideal, but a lot of people that have had kids in that range have been able to figure things out as well. It does take a what is it? It takes a village or whatever. Basically, like it does require a lot of support whenever you're that young. Like, and some people don't have it, some people do, but it is tough to figure out like who you are and what you want out of your life whenever you do have the ability to raise a kid. But also it depends on like your situation. Like if you're financially like in a great position at 22, like I mean, there's not really a whole lot of reasons why you shouldn't have a kid. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you know what I mean? If having a kid is that. It's just like being a younger parent, like wanting to be able to run around with your kids and not worry about like bones or fucking deteriorating fucking neck shit or anything like
I mean,
that.
that's already now, so I don't.
Well, yeah, well, you, but not everybody. But
You
what I'm
too,
well,
motherfucker.
True, but what I'm saying, not everybody, motherfucker. Either one of us is financially in a position to have a kid right now, so I don't think we're talking about either one of us right now.
If I'm being honest, half the people I know have deteriorating bodies at
Yes.
23, bro. They're like, oh,
It's our circle, though.
that's fair.
I was like, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people that are super healthy with like in good positions type shit. So I don't know. I guess I see both sides of that spectrum. But what I'm saying is, relatively, there shouldn't be like an age limit on it. It's more so like a positioning. Like if you are in a position to be able to raise a child, both emotionally, financially, be able to be there type shit. Like, cause that's important. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can tell you I love you every morning on my way to work whenever I have a 14-hour shift, and see you whenever you're already tucked in bed and I come into your bedroom and give you a kiss goodnight and say I love you again. Like I'm there and I'm emotionally supporting you, right? But I'm not there type shit. Like you don't have time with your father at that point, or mother or whatever. But relatively, it's like you have to be able to find those moments or find the niche like in that, or even if it means like finding a different career path if it doesn't make sense for your family. Like sometimes it's about what your priorities are.
A balance. And I know for some people
Yeah.
it's a hard balance. Being an adult's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine being an adult, going back to it, being an adult who has children, who's a teacher, who's still going out, fucking doing their thing. Kudos to them.
Balance.
People
dude.
do it.
Am I
Yeah,
right?
people do it every day, and I'm kudos to you. But I think if we wrap back around, we can easily say that Tom Hanks did not balance it out because Chet Hanks turned out so shit.
Yeah, I mean
That man was like, Irie. Like, all right, hey, mom, we do bad things.
wants some love right now.
But he was serious. He was serious when he did that. Bad things, bad things. It's
being a
holy
brat.
What?
Being a brat.
Always, though. Like, you're not giving me attention. You better give it to me now.
About a movie with a dog in it when you got a dog right here that wants pets.
Dude, I'm Marley, and your relationship's gonna deteriorate, and you're gonna love me at the end of it all. That's the point of the movie. It was about Marley and me, because Marley was the real hero at the end of the day. Their relationship was in shambles, but Marley held them together. He really didn't, but there's really
Isn't
no
that like the plot of Ted.
there's like no happy point in that movie. There's like
And
not
Marley and Me.
like the beginning.
There's like a whole montage of like him running around with Marley, like once he like when he like almost first got him. That was pretty cute and happy.
At the very beginning, whenever like the puppy was running around and stuff.
Yeah, whenever he took him out. Like,
All right, so the
on
first 20 minutes of the movie, and then the rest was just all like there was not like that movie's not an uplifting movie. Whoever told me like it was a very like beautiful, it was very sad. It was a sad movie, and I will stand by that.
It's a slow escalation and followed by an immediate just like absolute downfall of emotion and everything.
I mean, there was the one point where his friend was, still chasing after girls and, like going job to job, doing journalism, traveling the world type shit, just being fucking degenerate as a journalist. And then him appreciating his life, like,
Right.
but that's not me. But then again, because he always wanted to be his friend, because his friend was always like
Right.
that. But it's like, you're only glad that's not you because of the life you lived. I'm sure if you didn't have kids, you would have been like,
Maybe.
I wanted to have traveled. You could have still traveled with your girl.
I mean, maybe that's not the point. Maybe it's not the traveling part that he's.
He's just appreciative of the life he had.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I guess what I'm saying is like he can still travel right now. I mean, that's not the portion of it. It's more so like the bachelor lifestyle, I guess, type shit.
Yeah.
Maybe he said that wasn't for him, and that doesn't necessarily say that he's the happiest in his relationship or the happiest like person on the planet. But at least he knows what he wants.
He did. I mean,
Who's to say?
yeah. Yeah.
Who's to say? Owen Wilson, get at us. Let us know.
Now, it's crazy. Angela Yee just left The Breakfast Club.
All I said was really, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, well, if you're gonna continue to talk, no one's gonna hear you from down there.
I was holding my toe because I got stepped on. I'm wearing sandals and Orion just stepped on my
I still at the
shit.
Breakfast Club, and everyone's reminiscing all the more so the bad moments of the Breakfast Club than the good ones.
When's the breakfast? That's the one with
Charlamagne,
and
Angela Yee,
and who's the other dude? Ebro, right?
Ebro, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And everyone's like, some people are like, it was for the culture.
Is it Ebro? Or is it somebody else? I think it's somebody else. I think Ebro is a different show. So wait, are they still gonna do the Breakfast Club without her?
I think so. DJ Envy.
Yeah, there you go. I was
DJ
gonna say I
Envy.
got it wrong. I was gonna say Ebro's got his own show.
It's DJ Envy.
Damn. Okay. Well, that's crazy. I mean, cause like the idea for me, like where I'm at, is like Charlamagne's already got a bunch of like podcast shit is he still doing Brilliant Idiots with Andrew Schultz?
They were doing that, huh?
Yeah. So
I don't know if they're still doing that. I've seen a lot of Flagrant stuff. I haven't seen anything for
Let me see.
Brilliant Idiot.
I'll look it up. Yeah, cause I was gonna say Charlamagne might have some other shit going on too. So I wonder if they're just gonna end the shit.
A different era for sure. I mean, they weren't great though. Like when people were like, they weren't that bad. If you really go, like, they were kind of shitty.
Yeah, they just dropped a podcast 5 days ago.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh, Brilliant Idiots.
Nice.
2 days ago.
They're doing good then. I probably wouldn't watch it just because
Yeah, I mean,
neither of them are my favorite. But
yeah, I'm not like a super fan. But what I was saying is that he's got this going on. He's probably got some other shit going on. Probably doesn't need the Breakfast Club anymore. Maybe DJ MV might even cancel the show. I don't know. I mean, this is all speculatory, but I was just thinking about it. That's crazy.
To be fair, it was only for the culture because it was like they were getting big hip hop artists and artists in general that were for the culture on there, you know, rap and hip hop, and I think they also had like. They have anybody else on there really?
On the radio
Breakfast Club?
show?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they have like fucking what's it called? Like TV like actors, actresses.
Did they have actors?
I think so. I want to say. Well,
I mean, because they had what? They had Soulja Boy on there. They had Big Sean on there. They had Logic on there. Had Kodak Black on there. Let's see.
I know they've had a bunch of artists in the music industry. I'm trying to see if there's a way to see like their old guests of it, maybe. I'm not seeing nothing. But I don't know. I'm
They
sure,
had Kanye on there.
sure they've had a few people that aren't just like musical artists or even musical artists at all.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't really like their interview style. I mean, I guess to stay relevant, you do gotta do like, big clickbait, dumb shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a part of your career at a point. It's so annoying now.
Yeah, I mean it can be because it's like it seems like an avenue everybody goes down. What's the most outrageous thing I can say to get people to click on this, even if it's not even in the podcast or whatever? We talked about that on the last pod, but it's just like it's weird how people tend to change their content based on like these trends of wanting outrage or outrageous things to pop out type shit. It's like everybody's doing it now. It's kind of weird, but I guess it gets traction. I don't know. The algorithm's probably looking for it now at this point.
I have a great bit. We could either. I'll leave this up to you for now. Whoever's watching it, it's gonna be fun. All right, so we can either drop this bit now, or we drop this bit next podcast, and we could just talk about how we can't wait for Trump to be back in office.
Oh my god!
Like a quick 2 minute 2-minute bit where it's just like,
I mean, he's for sure gonna run, right?
Possibly.
Again.
There was a new video that just dropped from him that was like, "We need to bring America back."
Oh, that new Trump dropped. Is that like an album release?
Yeah, but he's not on Twitter. But he's like, we're losing freedom of speech. We're
Yeah,
losing.
he's still banned from Twitter. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. We're losing and it's all this shit. So yeah, I mean a little. I feel like a 2-minute bit. Post that as a clip. People are like, "What the fuck?" We might lose followers.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm with that.
That's the bit.
I mean, it's probably a good bit, but I don't know if I want to be on it. You might be able to fall on that grenade yourself, my friend. Just be over here. But no,
I can't wait for Trump to be back in office.
yeah,
Man speaks for freedom.
yeah.
He speaks for the economy.
I mean, he's by far the funniest president we've ever had.
Yeah, I think he has a big shot, and I just can't wait to see his comeback. I think there's gonna be a lot of news around it, and I think
Said big shot and comeback, and I wanted to make like a dick joke, but I couldn't think of it at the moment.
holy shit. Yeah, that man's got a lot going for him. I think he's really he's shooting for the stars, and I think he's got the polls are gonna really ring in, and he's gonna bring people out. And
Are you
whole
looking
thing.
to get on the campaign or something? Are you looking to be his next apprentice or some
yeah,
shit?
dude, hit me up, dude. I'm open for a job.
He said, "I'll be the secretary of the vibes, bro."
Nah, I'm really just trying to say a whole bunch of things without saying much at all. Like I'm trying to act like it sounds like I'm supporting him, but really I'm not saying anything supportive. Like all I'm saying is like he's gonna do this. I'm not saying I never said that.
Daniel loves the guy.
I don't. But that I'm hopefully I might cut that as a clip. I might drop 2 clips for this one.
Double clip action.
That is one, and then maybe a good one.
Damn, are you saying that wasn't a good one?
I mean, it could have been. I mean, if you're talking about controversy, just to get the people going, get the people riled up. Yeah,
it
no.
gets the people going.
R.I.P. at Breakfast Club, though. I just had to throw that out there because I thought that shit was crazy. I thought that shit was kind of wild. I mean, that's a end of an era, end of a culture. I kind of hated their style of interviewing, though. I didn't really like the show that much anyways. It was cool to hear from a lot of the artists and, what was going on half the time. But the way they went about it wasn't my favorite. It was mostly Charlemagne the God kind of like just pulling at things, and then DJ Envy piggybacking off of that. And Angela Yee just kind of throwing in comments or trying to be the nice one, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Like
Trying to bring things back a little bit.
Trying to be the mediator of
Yeah, like the
whatever's
balance,
going
which is
on.
good to have all three, but it's just like, dude, this is painful to watch.
I mean,
I'm talking to Mike.
I wasn't gonna say anything yet. And actually, I was still picked up over here. You can eat shorts, Daniel.
Shut up, dude.
Daniel can eat shorts.
Shut up.
But no, I was gonna say like I feel like having a mediator of a podcast is like one of those things where you're like, as a viewer, you're expecting things to get outraged, which makes you think like, even though it's not scripted, that it almost feels kind of scripted. And it's like, why is this person here? Like, can you guys not just fucking get it together and fucking talk? I'm not saying like her specifically, but like a mediator in any like talk show, it's always like, all right, is this scripted, or like, why can you guys not just have a civilized conversation? Why can you people not have a civilized conversation? Why do you need a mediator here? Keep things going. I mean, I get it, but it's also like,
I mean, that wasn't like what she
No,
she turned into, I guess.
that's what I was saying. I wasn't saying specifically her, but I was saying like a mediator on like any talk show, or not necessarily podcast, because a podcast, I feel like you can always like kind of either like calm shit down or just cut that shit, you know what I mean? Just absolutely just like say, all right, we're done here then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the I forgot who walked off like the Impulsive podcast like a couple months ago. I forgot who it was, but it was like somebody said something, and like it wasn't even like Logan or the other people that were there. It was like, I think one of the camera guys or the producers or some shit said something to one of the guests. It was actually, I remember it was the fucking Island Boys or whatever shit. Whenever they were on the Impulsive podcast, I think one of them got disrespected or felt disrespected by one of the production guys, and Logan was like, "You guys can leave. Like, I don't got to do this." Type shit. You know what I mean? Like, whenever it's a podcast situation, you can always just like, fuck this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he cared about the guests that
Whenever
much
you have
anyways.
like a production talk show and you have a mediator, though, it's like, why are you here? Like, now this feels much more scripted than it probably would have, type shit.
I could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a crazy moment. guess RIP. You know, it's like even if it does continue to go on, it's not the breakfast. It's still the Breakfast Club, but it's not. You know,
Yeah.
like doing a band. It's like keeping a band together with one of the major members gone.
Right. I don't know. It's kind of like,
And you could do it, but not the same.
yeah, I guess it's like comparable to like when 106 in Park would change their hosts out to a different person type shit. And you'd be like, well, fuck. I kind of got used to those people talking every week.
I mean, yeah, but this has been for
right.
10 years plus.
Right.
They've all been together, so end of an era. I guess it was that time.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Once you're in that bitch for so long, it's like,
And
that's what I'm saying. It has to probably have, like, if they keep it pushing, like, they probably got to change up the format or somehow, right?
It was because Gucci Mane disrespected Angela Yee, basically.
And nobody did nothing about it.
Yeah, everyone's just like, which is like, you're my co-host, you should, or whatever, you know, you should at least be like, hey, you know, chill out.
Right.
In some type of way as a professional. You don't have to be like, hey, yo, chill out. I wouldn't probably just say it like that to Gucci either, but.
Right. There's probably a way to handle that. I don't know what the best way to handle it
Just like, hey, that's at least just saying some sort of way, you know,
hey,
that's my co-host. I do respect her, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, just, whoa, you know. I wouldn't get straight up say, because I don't know where his hands are dipped in, so I'd be like, eh.
Sorry, Angela.
Nah, RIP though.
Dude, Ezra Miller, though.
Ezra Miller has been fucking shit up for sure. That dude's a menace. Honestly, he's gonna be in jail for sure.
Got to, right?
He's got to at this point.
There's like,
or is this all promotion for his next?
If this was a 3-strike fucking system, and this man is like pushing it.
I think he's past 3 strikes.
Yeah, he's for sure past.
What if the whole time they were like, none of that was real? This was all promotion for the new Flash movie. He's just that fast. That would be the best.
What if it's like
they paid for media coverage?
What if it's like when the movie comes out, it's like part of the plot is how he's just like conflicted with this like other self from like Earth 2, and this is like supposed to be Earth 2. He's like, the bad Barry keeps fucking up. He keeps attempting to like felonies and putting bad juju on my name type shit. Like, what if this Ezra Miller was the villain from the new Flash movie coming out?
This is all just promotion for that?
Not promotion. This is his villain arc.
Oh, this is his. It's just he's getting in the. This is what's it called? Kind of acting. Method acting.
This is villain arc, and then Flash from Earth 2 is gonna come through a portal and get this man. Boom.
You know, okay, like I'm gonna say
movie.
it. This is gonna sound fucked up, but I'm going to a different topic after this. But because there's something I wanted to cover after this, but I just think this is crazy. So when Ezra Miller was doing all that shit, just constantly harassing the country or the state. I'm sorry, constantly harassing the island of Hawaii. And all the civilians and like harassing people, abusing people, fucking robbing people. Like this man was doing all this shit, and it would come out in the news, and they would be like, "Hey, Ezra Miller, fucking attacked so and so, or is in jail now because this," and people would be like, "They," because his pronouns are they instead of him. I'm like, that's the least. I get it. You know, you should respect someone and call them by the. If someone stabs my fucking best friend or like my family, and I'm like, he stabbed I'm murdering you too, motherfucker. I don't care.
Said nope. That's the wrong pronoun. It's like, did you hear any part of the story where he has been harassing an entire island of civilizations? They again. I'm not gonna tell you. Like,
bro, shut
fuck you.
It just blew my mind. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to. Once again, you should respect people and their pronouns. But once again, my point is, someone who's harassing that many people and also abusing them, and also on an island where no one wants them and is not supposed to be there, and is a tourist and not someone who lives there. It's not just that you shouldn't respect their pronouns. You shouldn't respect them as a person, regardless. They deserve zero respect. The respect is out the window. Like, their respect had left a long time ago. They probably do have mental problems and should get help with that. But I think at that point, like when people like you went through any of the comments of like any headline that came up, all 10 of them, you know, all 10 of those headlines. Probably now, if you were to go look at the felony, honestly, I kind of want to. I'm gonna find this real quick. Where he got the felony charge, or getting charged for felony for robbing something in Vermont, I think is.
It was a felony theft, right?
Yeah.
Or what was it?
Name's Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller was arrested in Vermont, adding yet another arrest to their record. To their record. See, they I like how they did that. Let me see the original. Let's see the first. Oh, there's gonna be right here discussing Ezra Miller has been charged with felony burglary in Stamford, Vermont. Okay, no, everyone's actually, using the correct pronoun. I think they've been, No, okay, someone said, why does he look like that? And then someone was like, they. It's just like, I get it, but I don't give a fuck at that point. This man's fucking committed so much shit. Someone said, what is he trying to do? This has to be something he planned. Someone said, they, not he. Motherfucker, this man is, who fucking cares? Who cares at this point? Like, I get it. No, you should care about, like, if it's someone who deserves it, the respect. No, someone deserves the respect, is what I'm saying. And by all means, please respect them and their pronouns. But who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, there's a certain level of, like, a person becoming an absolute menace to society where you start not really giving a shit about how they feel.
Like, why is it so much that I get it? Because people want people to start respecting it, and like it doesn't matter, just get used to using it.
Yeah,
it's become a thing where you want to get used to using it more and more, it becoming more of a normalized thing. But also,
don't you have to be like a fan or even like?
It's just like getting hit in the face and be like, he just hit me in the fucking face. They just hit you in the fucking face. All right,
if you're
now I'm beating everyone's ass. I don't care.
I would say also, like, theoretically, I don't know like this position per se, but like theoretically in a position where if you read an article about him being arrested for a felony,
them being arrested.
Well, what I'm saying is in a position where you don't know who that person is. You don't know who Ezra Miller is yet. You've maybe heard their name in the tabloids or on like social media or whatever. But relatively, you're reading this article saying about their felony, and see, there you go. It's like, and so at that point, why could you not say what this person said? Like, being corrected, and then from that point saying they. I understand, but why does it have to be like a situation where that person's like wrong? It could have been an ignorant situation where it's like, I just saw a article and I replied to it saying, what did he say? Is like, did he have it all planned or something like this? So it's like being corrected at that point. It's like maybe that person then went on to say they from that point. It's like, that's absolutely. But it's like, I feel like the person said they. It's like, bitch, can we be respectful and like maybe like educate each other before we just like asshole that you don't know what you're saying?
No, I get it, but I'm saying at a point where it's.
Yes, I don't know what I'm saying.
I think at a point where, I think at a point where people are saying that correcting people in those comments for they. Yes, you're in support of pronouns, but you're also in support of a fucking abuser and fucking thief. You're still. It's weird because it's a double thing where you're. It's like, yeah, you could do both. You're supportive of a community, but you're also supportive of a piece of shit.
I guess
you're supporting his pronouns, so you're supporting him also.
Another way to like
you're defending a man.
Position what I was trying to say is only somebody that knows who Ezra Miller is and what their pronoun is. Then would know what their pronoun is to be able to correct somebody. So somebody just reacting to it without knowing who he is or what their pronoun is, then at that point you would be able to say something ignorantly, because it's only ignorant because you just don't know who this person is. But only a fan of this person or somebody that like has gone on their page and looked at their pronouns or has been like privy to this person's pronouns in the past would be able to come to that person's defense like that, right? Because it's like at any given point, it's like I don't know who anybody's pronouns are until I click on their bio or they tell me or whatever, you know what I mean? It's not something that's just apparent. You have to like actually tell people what you want your pronouns to be, and if I'm just reacting to an article, how can I know who like how do I know the person writing this this article isn't going to use their correct pronouns or not? I can't tell that.
I think what's funny to me more so is it kind of goes back to the Mark. Like this is hitting me more now that we're saying this. It's like Mark Norman sketches. Like there's whenever you're in a situation that needs it, you can't be as like if you get in a wreck or something and someone ran away. It's like you can't be as like politically correct. He's like, and then they were Asian, not because it's like you can't just like get to the point. Like not because they're a bad driver. You can't. And it's like okay, for instance, let's say I refer to myself as they them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone has to be politically correct about everything. It's like. Did you see them do it? What were they? They were what did they look like? They were tall, male or female. Well, it was them. So they were non-binary. So then okay, we need help. Can you give a description? Very particular facial features, and it's like, all right, this could be either way. We don't know what At that point, it's like if you're looking for a murderer or you're looking for someone who just fucking did a crime,
right?
Who fucking cares? Like, it's once again, it's just more so like you do have to kind of, in a sense, be at least a little bit more discretion, so that way people can figure shit out. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be a hoe. Once again,
but that's just funny
I am very like if you know me, I'm very respectful. And if you were to be like, can you please call me this or that?
It's like,
I will, because it's out of respect. I mean, that's what you want, and I respect
like,
that.
would you be correcting this post if this person stole from your store?
That's what I'm saying.
Or are you disconnected from the actual crime and you just saw somebody to correct on a pronoun?
That's what It's like at this point, are you defending the pronouns? But at a point, you're defending Ezra Miller too, who's a piece of shit.
Which is great. If that's what you want to do, then go for it. Because you're also kind of a piece of shit for that. I mean, the dude has literally harassed an entire island and now committed. I mean, felony theft. First of all, like there's theft and then there's felony theft.
Once again, it goes back. You've got a point. Once again, it goes back to all right. Someone punches me in the face. I'm like, he punched me. They just disrespected me by punching me in the face. You think I gotta respect shit about this person? Fuck no.
That's fair.
If someone fucking went into a place and was fucking harassing a whole community and like motherfucker, they just have the right to disrespect him in any sense.
It's like, bitch, I don't care if it was a he, she, they, them, fucking whatever you want to call it, non-binary at all. I don't care. This bitch just absolutely robbed my store for this much money. Fuck you right now. Pay me.
Yeah, don't put. It's all semantics. We put too much shit into words sometimes. I do it sometimes too, but like I think there's a point where it's like, all right, let's cut the shit. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to
business.
Now, all right, last thing I wanted to cover though.
E.B. White.
E.B. White with the semantics dome. All right. So I just finished watching Woodstock '99. I just wanted to say, yeah, the documentary. I watched both of them actually. It was really crazy because it made me think of Astroworld in a lot of ways, and also kind of Rolling Loud in a way, but like mostly Astroworld because Astroworld had deaths and what happened. Like people broke down the gates.
Yeah.
Overcrowded people, influx. And it made me think of just like the time now and the time then. So in Woodstock '99, basically, the majority of the crowd was like middle class, upper middle class white people, right? Majority of males. And it was weird how like the times can really dictate how things go. So it was a lot of things that led up to a big event. So essentially, the people who threw the event, Woodstock '99, the lineup was crazy, right? For the time being, the lineup was insane. You had Rage Against... I forgot. Yeah, it was Rage Against the Machine. You had Limp Bizkit. You had Korn. You had fucking Metallica. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think there was one more.
Locked and Loaded.
So basically, like for that time, really aggressive music. You know what I mean? Really like fuck you, fuck the system. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Very aggressive, angry music. And there was a lot of angst during that time period too. And what's weird, it's like they were talking about in both documentaries. It's weird because a lot of those people didn't really have much to like. There wasn't a lot of social issues really going on that much in like the late 90s. You know, there wasn't much like that many like super big as comparatively to the time before that, and even to our time now. Kids who grew up during that time period, especially if you're going to college, you were upper middle class, you had what to worry about.
Right.
There was a bunch of entitled people that had all this angst for no fucking reason, that were just angry at fuck you, mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, no one could probably give you the correct answer. I'm sure everyone had different reasons. You know, it was probably the machismo, like big, like macho, like misogynistic, like you have this manly way about you. You have to feel a certain type of way, type of thing.
Right. Yeah. And I'm saying like, not to say I know like so much about it, but I'm sure there was like a lot of people that were on the wave of like the Y2K, like that something was gonna happen and that maybe Armageddon was gonna come or some shit like that. So I mean, I'd say like maybe in '99 people were already prepping like that had that belief system, were already prepping like fuck it, I'm gonna just fuck shit up, like fuck this shit, like we're all gonna die anyways or some shit like that. You know
but I
mean?
think a lot of them were like upper middle class white people. So I don't think like frat boys and like college students. So I don't think a lot of them were like at 2K. There might have been a couple, but I think most of them were just you know, I don't get away about shit.
A lot of people believe in that shit. Like you're talking about a time before like the internet was like really like proficient
as much as it is now
at all.
I mean,
like,
there was still internet though in the 90s.
Yeah, but like it wasn't as like socially like connected in the way that like information wasn't flowing so smoothly. Like every article you had took 3 hours to load up, type shit. You know what I mean? Like not everywhere. Yeah. Obviously, some places had like faster speeds and shit. But for your average person, you know what I mean? Like in that time, like there wasn't a lot of flow of like real information. So if one person latched onto something that wasn't real or wasn't factually like backed or anything like that, and it was starting to spread, like it was almost more difficult to stop that, because then you'd have to re-educate somebody about a topic, and there wasn't a lot of outlets for that.
Yeah, that's fair. But so going on, basically, I mean, it could have been Y2K.
Anything.
Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a contribution of a lot of factors. But then basically, they spent a lot of money on the bands and stuff. But they were planning this big thing. They had a rave like little area. I forgot what they called it. Rave hangar, which was inside a hangar. They have a rave area, which is fucking sick. You know, idea. They were supposed to have all this interactive shit that they did. They were like, we still need to make money, so they just started cutting corners on infrastructure purposes. Everything. First day comes. They didn't have enough trash cans. And the thing was, people were like beating on some of the trash cans. So it's like, all right, those trash cans aren't being used.
You don't have enough trash cans, and the ones you do have
people
are
being
using
used
as drums.
Yeah, people are just banging on them and shit. People are just going. I think it was also the idea of people, like I imagine now, like kids and stuff, you know, younger people looking back at what they thought something was and trying to like pretend to be like what it is now. Like in Astro World, a lot of kids are thinking what they think rage is, and you know, like what it was supposed to be and all this shit. Versus like people who, like at most concerts before that, you know, it's like you rage, but you help people out, right?
Right.
But same in '99, it's all these people who have this idea what their parents did, shit, but it's a lot of entitled ass people. So like Woodstock, peace, whatever. And like there's a lot of naked girls too, because I guess, you know, they had this idea of what Woodstock '69 was just it's out, I guess. But then people also equated it to being like Girls Gone Wild. Like that came out during that time period. Like that was like big. Era. Yeah, that was that era. So it was just like this big, just you know, whatever. And so with that being said, day one comes, not enough trash cans. 250,000 people, trash everywhere, fucking trash everywhere. There's no one cleaning it up. Boom. Lines to get, because bottle of water was $4, but think it's $99.
Yeah.
How much was a bottle of water? You know. Think about it. You go to the store now.
Not that much.
Go to a corner store, right? It's like $1 and some change.
Yeah, more than that, but yeah.
Nah, like for like a cheaper bottle of water, it's like $1.50, $50.
Okay.
If you want like a good bottle of water, maybe like $2 and some change.
Talking about like just bottled water,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, 99. That's just probably like 70 cents.
Oh, not even like a nickel.
Nah.
Dude, you
maybe like 50 cents. Maybe like 50 cents.
Like flip a nickel to gas station clerk can get like a stick of gum or some shit
And
like that. You know what I mean?
99, I don't. Well, it's probably like 50, 60 cents, right? So can you imagine what $4 is like
Right.
at a festival? And food's like $8. I pay $8 now for a meal. Can you imagine $8 in for a fucking meal?
Yeah, but that's the idea of like having the cash flow that you have now back then. You know what I mean? Money was different, so people were making less per hour.
Exactly.
So right, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't have $4 back then. You would have like probably 2 and try to figure out how to divvy that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are like, what the fuck? And they already paid $180 for a ticket.
99.
Yeah.
Then I might be like thinking about money differently here.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it was expensive. Like, people like $180 now for a festival ticket. Like, damn, that's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Back then, though, you're like, fuck, I'm spending a fuck ton of money, right?
Yeah.
So, like some people saved up for that shit
Right.
and went, and then they're like, $4 for a bottle of water. This is my fucking savings for college.
My life
I
savings.
dipped into some savings for this shit. $4, $6 or $7 for a fucking salad. Are you shitting me? So then, on top of that, so there's trash everywhere. Fucking drinks are fucking hella expensive. So they have free water too. They have water spouts and shit, right? So like the lines are really long, and it's like whatever. So someone at some point busts one of the pipes to get water because they're just thirsty because it's hot. Like at that time, I think it was like 95 degrees. You gotta think for that time period, like 95 now is still really hot.
Yeah.
But like that's more of like in Texas in the summer, 93, 95, you're like
Good day.
still being out all day is fucked. But you're like, this isn't the worst.
No, yeah, it's
When there's 103-degree
it's a
temperatures.
great day.
So imagine 99 in New York,
Yeah.
95 degrees.
Wait,
You're
Woodstock's
burning.
in New York.
What? It was in it was in Rome.
Oh, okay.
So everyone's like, I went in Rome, making shitty fucking Rome fell type shit. Like it's really shitty jokes. It's funny how that ended.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Rome, New York. So trash everywhere. Fucking drinks are expensive. Long ass lines to get this water because water's $4 a bottle
Right.
all weekend. Fuck no, it's hot outside. You know what I mean? People are
Yeah.
burning up. You're gonna be $20-$30. That's fucking your whole savings right there for the weekend.
Yeah,
You brought
for sure.
type shit.
Absolutely.
So they're waiting in line for these free water spouts. So the lines are too long. People are fucking thirsty. Someone breaks a pipe for water, right? And that ends up fucking up the sewage line. So there's like sewage going in, whatever, from the porta potties and shit. And then that creates like all this mud and people are diving in the mud and shit. Like all shit, though.
Oh yeah.
Like shit mud.
Sounds fun.
And then
Sounds
the
like a good
porta
time.
potties end up getting backed up. No one's coming to take care of that. No one's
Pig
cleaning.
out, am I right?
No one's cleaning up the trash. And then, so this is all first day. So by the end of the first day, there's trash everywhere. Sewage is fucked up. Porta potties are almost like all the way full. Like they're probably like half full already. No one's taking care of any of this shit. It's hot outside. Food's expensive. Boom, into the first day. People are exhausted. And I think the first night it was corn the first night.
Mm.
So people are riled up, fucking angry as fuck. It's hot outside. The heat makes you angry already. People are hungry, on drugs, all this shit. Second day comes, fucking water, right? People are like trying to brush their teeth and shower, but like, because the showers were fucked. Like the showers after the first day kind of got fucked. So people are trying to shower and shit. Showers cost like $3 or $4 too. So it's like, fuck, back then you're like, holy shit. And they're communal. They were communal. So you're showering next to people. And there was like dudes peeking into the girls and shit. And on top of that, so like, how I said a lot of girls were naked and shit, and dudes just chanting, show your tits. There's a bunch of signs. Like everything's like very just not good vibes. You know what I mean? And like girls were getting crowd surfs and dudes were just groping these women, bro. Just groping fucking women, and I can do whatever I want type shit. It was just that vibe. Anytime a woman got on stage, like, show your tits.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Like the vibes were heating up. Like these are making the women angry at this point.
Right.
Fucking
Rightfully so.
dudes are getting angry too because of all this other shit. So both sides, everyone's just getting fucking riled up, getting angry. No fucking. So, yeah. So they're riled up. Turns out too, like the people that wanted to drink the water and shit that was like in the spouts, people are taking baths in that shit and shit. So now people are like, I was gonna use that water
Right.
to shower, like to use like splash on myself or to fucking. But now people are just in that shit. And like people who did use their shit to brush their teeth or whatever, the health department came in or whatever, and they tested the water out. Had fecal matter in it, so there was shit in the water. So people who brush their teeth
Good.
and stuff. There's people who got trench mouth.
Good.
Yeah, so there's cold sores and shit like
Good. That's
bacteria
what you want.
in their
That's
mouth.
what you want.
Yeah, so you can imagine how much more pissed off everyone's is at this point. No showers. Everyone smells like shit. The whole place smells like shit and piss.
Get lesions in your mouth.
Yeah, there's shit, piss in the whole place. Trash fucking everywhere, blowing in the wind.
Piss and shit and shit
And everyone's mad by the end of the day type shit. Limp Bizkit comes on at the end. And this dude's growling up the crowd. He's like, fuck everything type shit. Let's tear this shit down. Like, he doesn't know what's going on out there, though. He's just an artist. But he's just like, I'm going to give the best. You know, this is my. But he is an idiot. Like, the dude is dumb. He's just very.
Okay.
They're like, everyone fucked with him because he's like, he's relatable. He wears DC. Like, you can only imagine. First of all, the crowd, you already explained to you. Entitled 22, 24 to 24 college.
He wears DC.
Yeah, hat backwards.
Rob Deerdick
Type shit. Yeah. So, exactly. You know the demographic.
Not the look.
Yeah, you know the vibes. And so, like, he gets the crowd riled up. They start tearing apart the sound system. They start tearing shit apart, fucking just wrecking everything. And then, so the day 2 ends, like, they pretty much tore up, like, the sound system, everything, like, wood. And then by the 3rd day, everyone's just fucking mad. Everyone's just upset. It smells like even worse, like shit and piss. There's even more trash on the ground everywhere. Everyone's broke by this day because it's fucking took all their money from the vendors. You know what I mean? So people just start breaking down the wall that's around the fucking area, breaking down everything type shit.
Fuck.
During the day, but then Red Hot Chili Peppers go on that night and they give everyone candles for like a vigil because Columbine had just happened and they wanted to remember bullshit and like put your guns down type shit. So they started fires everywhere with the candles. And then they started tearing everything down around the entire venue and throwing everything, speakers, everything, just into the fires. And they looted all the trucks. They started a riot. They looted all the vendors.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
For the entire, it does kind of sound like it'd be cool, but
not like fun, but like fun.
I know some people were like, after 3 days, they interviewed people and people were like, I'd go back. I'd do it again. I would not. I need better. Fuck no. If I catch trench mouth,
if I survived from that shit and made it back home, I would not have wished to go on back.
Fuck no, dude. Awful.
Damn.
But you know, when you're in that moment, you're like, damn, that was a shit show. But memories type shit.
Yeah, I mean.
But people were passing out from heat exhaustion. It's like people weren't wearing camelbacks back then. Like, people didn't know what the fuck. And I'm not putting shit water in my camelback.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's probably some people that are like, those are the times, but there's probably much more people that are like, I am so glad I made it out of there. Me and my therapist have some things to work out.
Yeah, exactly. And that shit just like, but it just made me think of like that was like probably the prime example of America. Not only during that time, but like even now.
Yeah,
even now.
Prime example.
Because those kids had to grow up.
Yeah.
And become parents.
Yeah.
They became like kind of what led our society into what it is, if you think about it.
Well, some of our society at least.
Yeah, not all of it, but you got like,
whatever impact they may have had on the world. But yes,
like, and that like made me think of like what capitalism can do to us. You know, they pushed the people to a certain point where the infrastructure was shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a small version of when you think it. Like they cut corners, infrastructure was shit for money.
Mm-hmm.
They raised all the prices on everybody. Like everything was super expensive. They weren't taking care of anybody the entire time, but it basically like just like fuck all these people who spent their money, and people were getting sick, people were fucking passing out, people died, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People got tired of it by the end of the last day and just rioted and tore shit up.
Yeah.
I was like, that is like the perfect, like, and it was like majority of just like I said, like 20 to 24 white males.
Yeah.
And like with the harassment and the abuse of women and shit, I was like, how did one festival summarize like America so well?
Yeah, I mean,
it was fucking insane.
I would say it's kind of like on a smaller scale. An analogy would be kind of like a food fight in the cafeteria on the last day of school. It's like all the bullshit and shit that you fucking went through, and you don't give a fuck who has to clean it up anymore because even the janitor's giving you dirty looks all year. So you just start throwing milk cartons that are open across the fucking room, like in the last period before, like even if you get suspended, it's like fuck you, bitch. I got 3 months of fucking summer to look forward to. Fuck this suspension. You can't do shit to me, dog.
It's kind of crazy too, because there was like no security. Like they hired
Yeah.
10,000 security, but it was mostly like kids and shit. They didn't hire like actual security. They just gave kids shirts.
Right.
You know where that can lead. Most of them
It's like
abandoned their
Project
post.
X.
People were selling the shirt.
Project X.
Yeah. So basically, you got all these people there just fucking partying, going crazy with nobody to look after them, just recklessness.
That's
Recklessness
fun.
for 3 days.
Sounds like a.
So you can imagine why some people are like, I'd go back. Yeah, if you're a young kid who likes destruction, it was the perfect place for you.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But also, it's like, was it worth it? Like, you'd have to be somebody that didn't get trench mouth and didn't like have to worry about too much of like the disease part of the journey to be able to say like, yeah, that was awesome. Because
Like 100,000 people went home the second.
is that like a thing though? Isn't that a thing? Like most people, like a lot of people, whenever there's a festival, buy like a 1-day ticket.
No, but I mean that you buy all three. Like that was a ticket for all.
Oh, okay.
Like people were it was like I think all camping.
Okay, gotcha.
So like people left this like they were the second day it was like I can't. That's a lot of
Jeez.
people.
Yeah.
100,000. I mean there were still 150,000 people left on the third day, which is still a lot.
Yeah. But still, that's what I'm saying. It's like of that 150,000 that left on the third day or after the third day, I feel like only the people that didn't have to deal with that like disease portion of the journey would be able to say they had an enjoyable experience. Because regardless, if you had shit in your mouth, I don't know how much of the freedom aspect of the festival could make that enjoyable.
It kind of showed. That's fair. It just I'd be pissed. If I
I'd
found
do
out.
it again, even if it meant fucking drinking a glass of shit water right now.
Fuck, dude.
I'd love another one actually. Fucking give me a whole glass. I'll brush my teeth
On
with
the
it,
rocks, please.
shower with it. Thank you. This
yeah.
is my fave. When is corn
I'll
back
take-
on?
I'll take 2, please. But it made me think of just like how when people come together, and people were even saying mob mentality type shit. You know, even if you were someone not to do that at that point, you know.
Well, at a certain level, it's like whenever you feel like kind of trapped there. I mean, maybe you weren't trapped there, but like, what if you felt trapped there? And it's like, damn, I gotta get together with somebody, or it's us versus them type shit. You know what I mean? Like,
On this, or just some people said they just felt like they wanted to loot. Like they're like, yeah.
somebody gets you, like somebody loots your shit, and you're like, all right, well, I'm not leaving here empty-handed.
It's crazy. It just made me think, you know, in a large setting, you know, community is everything in a sense, or like coming together is everything, or what your mentality is, or what the cause for it is, and being able to like kind of maneuver throughout that, because it can become a scary thing when you're around that many people who are like, you don't know what's gonna happen, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
You're like, some people just feel like you feel that energy from everything, and you're like, I could do it, you know, like I'm gonna go harder, I'm gonna do it. And it made sense too when I thought about Astroworld too, and it's like, you know, you have all these kids and shit who are amped up and just angry at whatever, you know. I mean, life sucks. But, and someone just be like, yeah, fuck shit up, rage. And the crowd just, ah! And it's kids. They don't care, you know what I mean?
Right.
People are just getting sucked in, and people are still just going hard as fuck. Like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Came here to rage. Like, people were literally, after that, saying, well, you came here to rage. What'd you expect? Dude, what the fuck?
People died.
Yeah, calm the fuck down. Like, settle down, you know? It's like, for some reason, in those senses, we kind of lose. That's why when I go to
Humility.
festivals, I go to places that have more community, or, you know, that aspect of help
Right.
one another, because it's weird how within that
It's almost
amount of people you can have so much community,
right.
but you could also lose a lot of the, you know, individualistic. When things happen, people just, myself. First thing is
Right.
just like, what, like, it's all about me. Like, I'm going to take care of myself and my own, which, I mean,
It's sad because it's you can, as a person, you see how easy it is to be that guy, to be like focus on only like whatever you got going on, like how easy sometimes you don't even notice it, like sometimes you fall into selfish patterns and shit like that. But it's difficult to be the person that puts other people first and be able to like says like, to be able to tell yourself, like, as a community, a person of this community, I want to be able to not just it's weird to fucking quote John F. Kennedy, but like, ask not what you can do for yourself, but ask what you can do for your country. I don't really care about the country part. Fuck
like
the country,
people around
but
you.
the community. Ask
Yeah.
what you can do for your community. Maybe at a certain level for your country, if you have that like level of like power or say so on anything that you can actually help change in the world that'll make the world better. But as just like for your average person, focus on the community, because I mean, like, there's a lot of people that need your help that aren't asking for it and probably won't ever ask for it. That doesn't mean you can't offer it and be there for these people, or in whatever way they might need. And it takes that certain level of humility to step back outside of yourself and realize it sometimes.
Yeah. And honestly, it's crazy because, like, going to festivals and stuff, there's, like, one of the main reasons I don't want to go by myself. Not because, like, I'm worried about, like, you know, what's going to happen, like, in the sense of me going there and getting lost or anything like that.
Right.
Like, what if I'm at a festival, right, and some shit goes down and I'm by myself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no, like, I mean, there's a chance, you know, like, it's, like, me against whatever happens. You know, like, being in large crowds these days, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You don't
for
know.
sure.
Being by yourself in that situation,
You can just imagine the people that faint in a large crowd full with none of their friends around. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You get
And
trampled on because nobody there even notices you.
no,
type
but that's
shit.
why I like going to places where, because I like most of the places I choose to go to, if someone passed out like that, there's someone picking them up and carrying
Right.
them out.
Well, and that's the right thing to do. I mean, regardless, like, obviously it's probably not the easy thing to do. It's easier to just turn your head and act like you didn't see what you just saw, but it's the right thing to do to help that person out, obviously.
You should help the people around you. I don't know. That was a big eye opener for me. Crazy how we act in groups and
Yeah.
how we can act and what our how like the surroundings can affect us in many different ways. Like, you know, not our like societal issues or just not even that, the people around you, the things going on, the type of person you are, the type of person you're raised as. Like, all those factors can take hold into every situation. Like,
Right.
and how you go forward from there, and how you deal with those things.
But it is that level of kind of what's the word? Like, you almost have to be a leader in your own head. Like, you have to lead yourself towards that level of thinking. A lot of people don't. A lot of people say it's none of their business or not their problem or not my job and da 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 da. It's like there's plenty of reasons why you can not do something, but it's a lot harder to be the person that is accountable, dependable, and gives a fuck. You know what I mean? And necessary.
I think so as well.
Well, that's a good wrap up point, I feel like.
So we covered a lot of fucking things.
Oh yeah, dude.
Children. We covered fucking Breakfast Club. Covered fucking Ezra Miller being a menace to society and making sure that you respect him as the fucking piece of shit he is. And then we
Don't you mean they?
the piece of shit they are. Yeah, the piece of shit they are. And
That's hilarious.
yeah, then we covered respect to each other and society through fucking destruction. So, essentially.
All right, now that we put a bunch of education in your brain, go do something and apply that knowledge to your life. And
Like, comment, subscribe, motherfuckers.
we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody. We'll catch you soon. Let's fucking go.